Hi, this is Kate. This is my channel, and I completely forgot to film last week, and I almost forgot to film tonight. I got home with plenty of light, completely forgot, have had a shower, and have just remembered now that it's dark. So all my beautiful light-filled video dreams are already not happening because I forgot. But that's okay. So instead of doing a Friday reads or a weekend reads, I think I'm just going to call my videos currently reading because I can't guarantee that they'll actually happen on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. It's just kind of, I think, going to be when I remember. So what have I been reading? The last few weeks I have been listening to the Pucked series by Helena Hunting on audio. So these are rereads for me. They are hockey romances. They're silly and light and fun, and they are helping me go to sleep at night. Though I say helping, and I kind of think maybe they're half responsible for the bad sleep that I've been having. So I have to look into that. But anyway, I'm up to the last one. I am about 40% through the last one, which is Pucked Love. This is the one that I'm always like, I don't really know how I feel about this one. It seems a little bit more, it's like an established relationship that's kind of, they've been going out for 2 years, they're kind of stagnated, and it's just sort of about how they become more honest with each other and are able to move to the next stage of their relationship. The previous one, whose name I can't remember right now, was about Lance and Poppy, and that's potentially my favourite. I think Lance is just a total sweetheart. Also, he's Scottish, and the male actor who does the narration for Lance's sections is actually reasonably good at the accent. I mean, I don't know how accurate and realistic it is, but it doesn't make me want to die when I hear it, which when the Lance character speaks and some of the others read by other actors, it's pretty terrible. Abysmal, really. Otherwise, I am still going with The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat by Oliver Sacks. It's really slow going. I'm kind of only reading maybe 2 or 3 pages every couple of days. It just takes a lot to get into, and it's probably what I'm going to pick up after I finish filming this. Just watched a few episodes of TV, and I think that I need to turn the TV off now in my attempt to actually sleep. So I think I'll be picking up this and reading a few pages of this tonight. I have just finished The Song of the Crocodile by Nardi Simpson, and my copy is signed by the author. So the week just gone in Australia is known as NAIDOC Week, which is when we celebrate the achievements of Indigenous Australians. And this particular book is a debut novel by an Indigenous Australian, Nardi Simpson. So this is, I've never read anything quite like it before because it's the one story sort of told in 2 parts, and so like the main story, and by main I mean the part that takes the most pages, is the historical fiction part, which goes over 3 generations of this same family in rural Australia, an Indigenous family living in a very racist on the outskirts of a very racist white town. And it's kind of hard to tell when it's set, other than to say that the first generation that this story is told over, at the beginning she starts a laundry business where she's hand washing everything, and 1 or 2 of the very rich people in town have those new Butte washing machines, and then towards the end, the business has failed because everybody has their own washing machine. So it's really the only indication I have of when it's set, and I don't actually know when washing machines made it to rural Australia. So even then, I'm not quite sure when it's set. The other part of the story is the dreaming part of the story. So it's got lots of ancestor spirits and the spirits of different entities within country, and then as characters in the I don't want to say the real world because dreaming is the real world, but in the historical fiction part of the story, as those characters die, they join the dreaming characters, and they that's where the culmination happens. And in the concluding, like the high point, the raison d'etre, the two stories merge, and dreaming is much more present and active on the lived. I don't know how to describe this as separately without being disrespectful. The dreaming and the historical world come together and act together. And that's about the crocodile spirit. So the dreaming characters throughout are working up to sing the song of the crocodile to conclude this story. Quite complicated, and I've never read anything before that's fiction that depicts dreaming and the world that I live in as interacting so closely together. And it was really beautiful to see how they act together, because I've only read about that in non-fiction ways, and I think it can be difficult to understand for someone who hasn't been raised with that. So this was from that point of view, it was really lovely. The writing itself was gorgeous, particularly for some of the dreaming sections where it was less literal in its writing. And I know that it could be really tempting to describe it as magic realism, but I don't think it is magic realism. I think it's something else, or that magic realism describes the culture of somewhere else and not the culture of Indigenous Australia. So I don't think it's the right term to use here, but it suggests a kind of similar vibe, I think. But it was really lovely. I really enjoyed it, and I'd actually be really interested to see what Nardi Simpson does next, because this was pretty good. Next, I'm either going to read Kathleen Jennings' Flyaway, which is also set in a small Australian town, but with what I understand to be some weird magical overlay, or I'm going to read The Only Good Indians by a man whose name I can't remember, which is a horror novel by American Indian man, which I've heard amazing, terrifying things about. So I guess it'll have to see how I feel. So that's what I've been reading, and it's been a little while, but I'm trying to be consistent. So thanks. Good night.